Hello, I'm Greta. I'm a homeopath and an emotion code practitioner here at Return to Health.
And can you please talk to us about how do you blend homeopathy and emotion code sessions together?
Yes, well, I was actually just talking to one of the students about that this morning. So everybody's very layered with their emotional baggage, shall we say.
Yeah,
And homeopathy is wonderful at working towards dealing with that emotional baggage. But we can come in with the emotion code and choose a specific topic, say one of their physical symptoms or something emotional that they wish to release some of that energy from, and then
yeah.
the homeopathy can really get into where it needs to very effectively after that, after we clear away. So it's like we're removing some of those layers and blocks.
Experienced with the emotion code is, or that I've found really powerful, is when I'm prescribing homeopathically, it's great if the client is giving me that information. So either they consciously know that there's an issue or an event or some history, or they might even have a sense and they could be talking about it's as if. Um,
Mm.
or you can draw some conclusions from detailed case taking as a homeopath. But ever so often it feels like we're just not getting to the nub of it or the original root cause. And often I find the client's not even aware of it. Either it happened when they were way too young, they've got no conscious memory of it, or it's maybe something that happened in the family, not to them directly, but they've picked up on that energy. And I've found that the emotion code being able to go to that subconscious layer directly, um, to just be invaluable. You know, it's getting in underneath the stuff that we might not even know is there.
Exactly, or have memory of, as you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually happened this morning. Working on a skin condition,
Mm.
and it hasn't shifted for a couple of months now. It's changed a little bit, but it's not where we would like it to be
Yeah.
with the homeopathy. So there was some ancestral energy that had been passed down from quite
Oh,
far back. So now we're quite excited to see how that goes for her now, how she responds now that there's that opportunity for the remedies to really get through
mm.
some of those layers that she wasn't even aware of.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Mm.
as I said, that acts like a block,
Mm.
like an obstacle to cure.
Yes.
And yeah, I think that is going to be exciting because I know the case you're talking about. So it'll be so interesting to see how she goes on in the next round now.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
And
wonderful.
and as you said, it helps with the prescribing because some of what she wouldn't have probably just told me in a session unless I was asking either the right, really right specific questions, or it just wouldn't have come up because it was something from age 2. But now she could identify with that emotion and she could remember feeling this way, a certain emotion through her childhood. We have that now removed with the emotion code.
Mm.
And she didn't really know that that was stuck there, stuck in her
Yes.
subconscious.
Yeah.
So using those key words that come up, it helps us to pick the right remedies as well in the
Mm.
prescribing of the
Mm.
homeopathy. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's very hand in hand.
Do you find that it makes the homeopathic part of the process not just more effective but faster?
I think so. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Things we might think would take, say, a treatment round, which would be 4 weeks initially, or 8 weeks, 12 weeks, we can see things shifting much faster.
Mm.
Yeah, physically and emotionally. Um, so yeah, meeting people where we're at, that's our job. But if they're doing more work, releasing more of that stuck energy, then they will get faster results.
Mm. Yeah, very good. I'm thinking of one of your clients. where we've been making slow but steady progress, homeopathically speaking, with him over the period of probably close on 2 years, I would
I know you
say, or
mean.
18
Yeah,
months at least.
absolutely.
And we've really simplified the landscape over that time. He's worked so hard at it. But considering that one last issue that we just couldn't seem to budge, and that
Mm,
moved after just 2 or 3 sessions of the emotion code, didn't it?
absolutely,
And it
absolutely.
stuck, which is really important,
Mm,
because he's still holding strong with that
absolutely.
shift he's had. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So
And
it's
that's where, yeah, I see the homeopathy also being a great foundation to then bring in the emotion code, because a lot of that work is already underway,
mm,
and a lot of the stuckness or blocks have been shifted. So
yeah. So you can
whatever
use
way
them
you
in
slice it.
conjunction, exactly, and you can do
Yeah.
the one first, the other one first, or both simultaneously, or even, I
Yes.
guess, alternate between them.
Yes.
Um, I do, correct me if I'm wrong, but in my limited clinical experience with using your emotion code therapies in conjunction with the homeopathic treatment, um, I've found that it's particularly relevant with the more complex chronic
Mm.
cases where there's a lot of childhood trauma. I guess that's where it's really stood out for
Yes.
me as being a game changer.
Mm.
Would that be a fair assessment, or do you find that it is also incredibly powerful in other types of cases, maybe that I'm not seeing so much of?
Mm. Absolutely. It works for those complex chronics where it just gets to a point and we're not maybe not sure how to proceed. We continue working away, but we know there's something else, as you were describing before. But what exactly was it? And in that case, with the emotion code, we don't need to go into all those details either. We can
Mm,
remove the trapped emotions associated with an event or something like that.
mm,
But I've had it, um, I've seen it be very effective with somebody for an injury, a groin injury. This is the one that comes to mind because he just said, I'll give it a go, the emotion code. And he had come to the Gold Coast to run the marathon, not the half, the
mm,
full marathon. And he
mm.
said to me the day before, I'm not going to run it. I've got this pain when I run. And I said, shall we release your trapped emotions associated with that? And there was, I think, more than half of it was inherited trapped emotions. And he really resonated with what came through, and he could tell me how this person died and that person died, relating to the emotion that had come through
Mm.
from them.
Yeah.
And he said, what happens now? I said, well, let's see. Either you'll feel a benefit straight away, or it might happen over time, or you might have more layers to clear. And he messaged me the next morning, the pain's gone, I'm running the marathon.
Oh,
And he ran the marathon, the full marathon, I know I'll say it again, and had no pain and hasn't had the pain back since.
wow.
So it can be very effective for physical
Yeah. So even in
general.
what otherwise might be considered a simple physical general script.
Yes,
Yeah.
go get some anti-inflammatories. Not,
Mm.
I never recommend that, but and animals as well. When
Mm.
I've seen it to be very effective for my own dog, for my friends' dogs. They have a lot of emotions,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. And they probably carry a lot of our energy as well.
absolutely. And that's where we
Mm.
can look at what's been absorbed. That can happen for children a lot as well. So yeah, it's great for finding another way in.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And I think that absorbed energy or emotions rather than experienced is something that is often very difficult to pinpoint purely
Mm.
in a conversation.
Absolutely.
Um, because I find a lot of my clients will override that. They'll have an experience, they'll know it was upsetting or unsettling in some way, shape, or form, but they minimize it almost immediately because of their upbringing or um, I don't know, their viewpoint that they shouldn't make such a big deal of it, or they're being too soft, or whatever their judgment is that they're passing, which means that if we can't break through that conception, that preconceived idea that they shouldn't be as affected by something, or they go into a comparison mode, but it's not as bad as what happened to my
Yes.
friend. It diverts us away from how it actually affected them. And we can get there, but I do find it can take multiple sessions sometimes for them to move through that. Sometimes we're lucky and it can go in the same session, but you've got to bring them all the way back and then be able to help them to go underneath the emotion into the deeper feeling. And that can be something that we can get to a lot faster, I think, by combining it with that emotion code.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And something amazing about the emotion code is almost every time the person will either resonate and be able to recall a memory or an experience or something relating to the emotion that's come up. They'll just say, oh, this happened, or it'll just come out.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't probably have thought of that specific scenario because, yeah, like you said, they've judged it in some way, or it wasn't a big deal, or
Yeah.
so it's a way to see what's really there,
Yeah.
honestly, identify it and release it.
Mm.
Yeah, and then there's more room for them to be who they are.
Yes, and for the healing to take place that we're working on, not just with the emotion code, but in conjunction with the homeopathic treatment, to actually have more space for that harmonic resonance and the shift that needs to happen, in whatever way a whole person needs to clear that.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Now that's super interesting. Thank you. I was excited to find out more about that combination between the two wonderful modalities. Obviously, each a modality in its own right, but I love that at Return to Health we can combine them if we feel that that's in the best interest of the client and that's going to get them the better results in a shorter space of time. That to me just
Absolutely.
feels like such a powerful offering.
Yes.
And I'm very grateful that you've brought
Yes.
that amazing skill set to our plate. Thank you for that.
Thank you.